all that life has to offer to me. I always wanted to write a book. And now half my life has passed and I still haven't done that. So that's my dot. Of course, men is also welcome. So I'm working with a person that write fiction novels.
Okay.
In the first time, and I help them to believe in themselves. That's step number one, believe in you. Because if you don't believe in you, who else will do that? And number two is write that good book, that really good books that will sell great. So that's a big course, writing a book. And step number three is sell it, but not sell it with marketing that way, just sell it to their publisher so you can get it published.
Okay. I love it. Right. And you like writing fiction, right? Okay. So I'm just taking notes as you're talking. So there's a couple of things. I love this, by the way, guys. This is fun to me. I hope it's fun to you because this is where it goes. Like, this is where the art comes in. And this is where you get to realize, okay, I'm going to ask this to Pia. If I said to you, just think about this. Right now, Pia, I have a room over here, our mastermind room, right? I could fit 100 people. I have 100 people in there that I'm ready for you to talk to. You're going to teach them how to write a book, right?
Yeah.
If I said there's young men, young women, old men, or old women, all different ages of people. They kind of want to write a book or they kind of want to do something in your life. That's one strategy, right? You'd have to go in with a certain thought process. If I said, hey, I have a room full of 50 to 70-year-old men, executives, that want to write a book about their business, could you go in and talk to them? You might, but you'd feel a little uncomfortable, right? Like that's not who. Tell me who you'd want in that room. I believe you'd want middle-aged, successful women that don't want to end their life without getting a book out to the world. Is that true? Right?
Yes, absolutely. That's true.
Look at that smile. We all have to have that visual of what room do you want filled? Because that's when you look at that smile. When I said 50 to 7-year-old men executives, you were like, no, right? But they might want to write a book, but that's not who you want to serve, right? Yeah. So remember, when we think about that room, that mythical room filled, let's visualize who do we want in that room and what do we want to say to attract them. The best definition of marketing is attracting those who you want while repelling those you don't, right? Most people think, no, I want everybody. No, you don't. If I said, hey, in that room are some middle-aged professional women that have been dying to write a book. You're like, oh, but they're mixed in with a bunch of guys and a couple guys that work out a lot and a couple 70-year-old executives that are thinking about retiring. Then you'd be like, well, who am I speaking to then? This world is big enough for you to say something like, this is not your headline, but think of the 7-step blueprint for middle-aged women to finally write that fiction best-selling book, even if you have no prior experience, right? Anything like that. Like I would say in your headline, yours is a little personal, right? Because I could tell someone was making you feel bad about your passion, and the hell with them, right? Right? You don't want to just write a bestseller. First off, remember, don't be afraid to go small. You want to write a fiction bestseller. So you should write that word, right? You want fiction in there. I would say go with women, Pia. There's millions and millions of middle-aged women like you that are dying to write a book, and you can release that creativity. So your subject line should have fiction. It should have women, right?
Yes.
And then the part of it could be, and I'm not giving you the words, but part of it could be stop just thinking about it. Like stop just dreaming about it.
That's
right?
good.
It could be stop dreaming, stop thinking, it's time to do it, right? And what you're doing is finally helping women middle-aged that are dying to write a book. And I promise you that's millions of people, and that's the room you want to talk to. So we might as well write a subject line that women read and they go, oh my God, she wrote this for me. What's the next thing she'd say? What's next? Right? Then they'll continue down their page. Oh my God, in module 1, I'll figure out how to title it and write the chapters. Oh my God, module number 2, I'll teach how to edit. Oh, I'll teach, and then they go over and click that little button and give you their credit card. That's how.
Actually, I teach them how to write it in 10 weeks. So
yeah, in 10 weeks. Okay, so that should be in the subject line. You should get rid of the whole looking down at you for writing all the time. Get rid of that. That's too like no. But what it should be is in 10 weeks or less, even in 10 weeks, even if you're busy. I love it.
Even if you're busy. So I can skip without. I can have even if instead.
Yeah, either one. Either one. In 10 weeks, even if you're busy or or without overwhelm.
Or without over. Good.
There you go. You got your ingredients. Everybody, give it up for Pia. You know, what's really cool is, did you watch when this hypothetical room, when I said older men, she's like, and I was like, what if it was this page? She's like, and then I said, what if it was middle-aged woman who've been dying to write a book and they're dying to get out? She's like, right? That's all of us though. Like, we all need to know that when you dial in, the reason we go so obsessed on dialing in your dot is because once you dial in your dot, you're like, oh, I can do that, right? That's the feeling we want. Like, she could teach them. And your dot, when you dial it in and you align your subject line and your course and your marketing, you're only attracting the people that you want to talk to. I want to talk to you guys. You're my people. Right? So it's easy for me to have these conversations and teach because I know what you need, I know where you are in the journey, and I know exactly what to deliver. Make sense? Okay, in room number 1, there was Anthony H. in room number 1. If we could find Anthony H. in room number 1.
Here I am.
How's it going, Anthony?
Outstandingly well. How's things with you, Dean?
Good, man. Your dot caught my attention, your subject line. The 7-step method, talking to your kids about money and developing financial freedom without any financial knowledge. I love it. I love the philosophy of this man because I'm working on it with my kids right now, right? It's not easy, right? Nobody else teaches your kids about money. We were never taught about money in school. So tell me a little bit about what your passion is and who you want to teach.
Well, usually it's, like I said, eventually it's going to go into all adults. But usually, you said it exactly right. We just don't discuss it. And if you have no financial knowledge, there's nothing to discuss, and they don't figure out how to talk to their kids before they're 16, 17, 18 and get that financial base. So my job is to educate the adults and teach them a way to teach their kids without feeling, like I'm the dumb parent.
Okay, so that's why when I saw it, it really intrigued me, man. And it's the reason I brought you up here. I love talking through this. And I'm going to make a promise to myself. I don't want to just give anybody a headline or a subject line today. I want to invoke you to think a certain way. So when you get done tonight, you're still playing with this thing, right? What made me think is like, you want to teach the kids. In a lot of cases, the parents don't have the education either, right?
Correct.
Right? And you got to convince you got to convince the parents the kids need it, but they need it just as much.
Correct.
Right? Are you in the financial background? Is that your background? What is your background?
My background is engineering, but I've been doing financial education as a consultant for like 2 years. Actually, I went to your mastermind and you guys got me into this.
Great. I love it. I love it. So what if it was, I don't want to give a name, but what if you have 7 steps? What if there were 7 simple steps to teach financial literacy? That's too fancy of a word. To teach financial literacy, like, I'm looking at it like, if you could teach 7 steps to this financial literacy or smart investing in a shifting world, like the 7 steps to smart investing in a shifting world. that you could pass down to your children, or something? I'm not trying to give you a name. What I'm trying to think is, how can we make it easy for the parents to go, I need to learn this and I'm going to pass it on to my kids? Like, the kids have to be tied in, but if you don't get them to believe, if you don't get them to do it, right? I love that saying. We get mad at our kids for cheating on a test, but we talk about cheating on our taxes at the dinner table.
Yes.
Right?
I agree with that.
Right? So if you give the parents the blueprint to teach their kids, but they're not actually following it, kids don't do what you tell them to do, right? Kids become who you are.
Correct.
So
that's where we used to get our knowledge.
Yeah. So how do we trick the parents into learning it so they could teach it to their kids? Again, I'm not giving you a name. I'm just trying to evoke a thought here. It's like, we really got to trick the parents to go, oh, I'm going to learn this so I can teach it to my kids. But really, you're helping both of them out. You're helping legacy, right?
Yes.
Anyway, what are you thinking about that?
Actually, you're right, because usually my first problem was mindset, to get the parents on board with the mindset of something they don't have. So usually that's where I get stuck at. I've been working on this for 6 months, trying to figure out how to knock into that little niche. And I agree with you that the word financial literacy, because people, what does that mean? They stick their hands up and say, what does that mean? And how do we get from there?
So that's it about sharing a skill live on YouTube.
Using the word investing is kind of like a little taboo, because you're talking to parents that may or may not have an investment thought process.
Okay, so
investing says you have money.
I'm going to challenge you on something else then. Dial in your dot a little more. I think we're too wide.
Okay.
I think we're too wide. Two things. Do you want to go after parents who have never invested, not making smart decisions that way, and try to teach them to invest better and then teach their kids? Or do you want to go after people who do invest, which there's gazillions of them, but they're too damn busy to teach their kids, and you're going to be the one that give them the steps on how to teach them? I think if you dial that in, I'm going to give you an example. My wife's parents, my father-in-law, he's one of the nicest men I've ever met in my life. Him and my mother-in-law raised the most amazing family. My wife is the oldest of 5. They're the most connected, hardworking, loving family I've ever met. They're on a family chat that they tried to put me on, but they talk to each other so damn much I had to jump off it. They text each other all day, every day about everything. It's so beautiful. And again, I couldn't be a part of it. And all of the kids are really successful, meaning they all work hard, they all make money. But my in-laws, he came from Mexico when he was in 7th grade and just was a hard worker, did well for himself financially. 0 investments, 0 future as far as putting away for their retirement. They never took advantage of any market, not compounding interest, not cost averaging into the market, not setting a certain piece aside, not maximizing an IRA every year with the amount that they could put in tax-free. They've never done any of that. Therefore, his children, my wife and all their siblings, they are the hardest workers I've ever met. They all have beautiful cars, nice houses. None of them are doing anything with investing. And now I'm jumping in, helping that whole family see a bigger future on how they can have compound interest and how they can work on things. So that's a demographic of hardworking, awesome dude, great family, 0 literacy when it comes to investing. That's one demographic. There's another demographic of parents who do invest, but they're not taking the time to teach their kids. They're thinking the school system is going to do it.
Oh, no, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, so no, I know that to be true, Anthony. So what I'm saying is, I think you and we could go down this rabbit hole forever. I think we got to pick one, Anthony. I think you got to pick, hey, if I said, you're investing, you're setting up your future, but you're not doing crap to teach your kids, I want to show you the 7-step process so your kids can start way before you did. Okay, who in here, raise your hand if you have some investments in your life. A 401k, an IRA, a stock, you bought something in your life. Raise your hand if you have something invested in the future, right? Okay, raise your hand if you wished that you would have started putting money away at 17 years old. I did a breakdown for the first time in my life. I did a breakdown, Anthony. You want to shock people? I showed my son at 12 years old that if he put $100 away a month at 12 years old, I don't remember because I'm going to exaggerate, but the millions and millions and millions of dollars it was at 7 years old was mind-blowing at a conservative interest rate, right? The older we get, the more we got to catch up, right? We don't have, and that's okay. I didn't do a lot of investing for a long time, but man, when I showed that to my son, he's like, that can't be possible. And I went through and explained what compound interest was and how in a decent market, money can double every 6 to 8 years. And he's like, oh my God. And he's like, what if I lived to 78? How much would it be then? So I hit it again. He's like, oh my God. I'm like, yeah, doubled again. But wait till you see if you live to 84. And he's like, right? So I don't know the answer, but I do know that what we're talking about here, Anthony, if you don't dial in exactly who the parent is, not the child, you got to dial in the dot of the parent more down than you are currently doing and go after that demographic. You can either go after, my wife's last name is Palacios, you go after like the Palacios family. No, seriously, hard workers, but don't have an investment strategy or that mindset and don't teach it. Right? Hard workers, good people, but they don't understand it. My father-in-law and that whole family could use what you teach, right? Or do you go after the busy person who is investing, but isn't taking the time to translate it? I think if you pick one of those, Anthony, your life changes forever.
I agree with you both because I think somebody mentioned it. I had 2 dots. One was to like my other dot was to go into the school system and teach there. So I had that dot over there, and I'm working on that separately. But this dot was aimed for the parents, most likely.
Yeah. So I would say it's training for the parents and better wording, but it translates to your child. Like it's the 7-step model for the parents, but training for the parents. But it's better wording, but to be taught translates to your child. Right? It's like I would say I want my kids to eat better. How do I get my kids to eat better? But it's better wording, but to be taught translates to your child. Right? It's like I would say I want my kids to teach my kids to eat better. How do I get my kids better? I got a better foot in the better wording, but to be taught translates to your child. Right? It's like I would say I want my kids to teach my kids. How do I get my kids better? I got a better foot in the better wording, but to be taught translates to your child. Right? It's like I would say I want my kids to teach my kids. How do I get my kids better? I work out every day, and I always was busting my kids' chops to exercise. And guess what's happening now because I do it every day? My son just said to me, my daughter's working out, and my son just said to me, hey, I know it's early, but maybe a couple days a week I can come work out with you. I'm like, sure, dude. And I'm not pushing him. He's coming because I do it every single day. And I'm 53, and sometimes we go and we meet some of my friends that I went to high school with, and my son's like, Dad, you're both 53? I'm like, yes, because I take care of myself and I exercise, right? So they're learning it because I do it. So I think you just got to decide what parent you want to go after. Get them to implement it and show them an easy way to translate. Man, if you crack this code, what I want to share with you, this is not an easy one because who your client is. No. But I just got done reading a book 6 months ago. Michael Schwartzman, who started BlackRock, one of the largest investment.
I used to mean like everything I'm doing.
I think they have $1 trillion or $1 trillion plus under management right now. And what he said is where the biggest growth usually comes in a niche or an area where it's a little more difficult than the rest. Because when you crack something a little more difficult than the rest, you got little competition. So what I'd say is if I thought this wouldn't work, I swear to you, I would tell you right now. I would say please stay passionate about it because the world needs this. Kids need it, parents need it, and I would say just identify who the parent is and craft language and a dot and a subject line around that parent. You're gonna crack this, brother.
Yeah,
thank you.
Everybody, give it up for Anthony.
Yeah.
I like what Amy said. Amy Fromont. You should look it up.
Oh yeah, the OBS. Yeah, that's the OBS.
Okay, let's do Patricia B in room 2. Patricia B in room 2.
My day off is that one. So
Hello.
Hey, Patricia, how are you?
Hi.
okay.
I'm doing great. So excited to be here.
Oh, good. Well, nice to meet you. So I'm going to share. You said light-hearted motherhood.
Okay.
Release the mom guilt
Great.
and overwhelm and experience
You go to
joy
buy
and
my thing.
harmony
Instead of
in the
paying, you
home.
go give me them
So
buy
give me a
one.
little background.
300.
Okay. So these are moms
Yeah, but I go
of
buy
teens
data.
and preteens, and they feel like life is pushing
Actually,
them
for
to a
anytime
new
you go and do
new
this, there you
direction, pushing them over the edge. They need new life
go. Because I
skills.
know like if you go
They're
make it, they can buy
feeling
100 cities.
lots of
Everyone tired of 300, and
uncertainty,
you get a lot
stress,
of money.
overwhelm, trying to feel peaceful, don't know
And the
how.
end top boom look like
Um,
wow.
and they feel guilty about that. They need the peace. They struggle with that guilt.
Yeah.
And they also feel the guilt because they can't bring that peace to the home. So more or less, that's kind of the struggle.
Okay, so tell me how you're going to help them.
This is going to be a membership.
Okay.
It's not a course, but they're going to go through a process where they will learn how to relax, how to connect more with themselves, listen to their wisdom, connect to their inner peace, their inner calm, and also discover more about themselves, but also understand their kids more and what their family